In a city that never slept, a place of endless noise and neon dreams, lived a young woman named Clara. By day, and often by night, she was a waitress at a small roadside cafe. Her uniform was faded, her shoes were worn thin, and her wallet was almost always empty. But her heart was always full of gratitude, and full of a quiet, steady kindness for everyone she met. It was a chilly evening as she clocked out, her apron still carrying the warm scent of coffee and cinnamon rolls. The cold air bit at her skin as she walked to the bus stop, clutching a small paper bag. Inside was her dinner, a single piece of bread and a small cup of soup she'd managed to save from her shift. For most people it was next to nothing. For Clara, it was everything. She sat on the cold bench, watching the city lights dance in the puddles on the street. That's when a man stumbled out from the shadows of a nearby alley. His clothes were torn, his face unshaven, and his eyes held a hollow look of hunger that Clara knew all too well. He glanced at her food for just a moment before looking away, his shoulders slumped with shame. In that fleeting second, Clara saw a pain that went deeper than just an empty stomach. She knew he hadn't eaten in days. Their eyes met just for an instant, but it was enough. Without a second thought, she stood up, walked over to him, and held out her paper bag. "You should eat," she said softly. He blinked, his lips trembling as he tried to find words. "No, I can't. That's your dinner." She offered him a gentle smile. "I'll be fine," she insisted. "Please." With shaking hands, he finally took the bag. His fingers, rough and cold, brushed against hers. As he opened it and saw the bread, his eyes welled up with tears. He whispered, "Thank you," but before he could say more, Clara heard her bus approaching. She turned, gave him a small nod, and stepped aboard. The bus driver greeted her with a familiar smile. "Long day again, Clara?" he asked. She nodded, her gaze drifting out the window to the spot where the man had been. "Yeah," she replied quietly, a small smile playing on her lips. But it was worth it. That night, Clara went to bed hungry, but her heart felt strangely, wonderfully full. She had no idea that this one small act of kindness had just set in motion a chain of events that would change her life forever. The next morning when she arrived for her shift, the cafe was unusually busy. A sleek, black car was parked out front, a sight you'd never see in this part of town. Inside, at a corner table, sat a well-dressed man who looked completely out of place among the chipped mugs and worn-out booths. Nervous but professional, Clara approached his table. "Good morning, sir. What can I get for you?" He looked up, his eyes calm and observant. "Just a cup of coffee, please, and maybe a moment of your time if you have any to spare." She gave him an awkward smile. "Of course, I'll bring the coffee right over." When she returned, he slid a business card across the table toward her. "You were at the bus stop last night, weren't you?" Her heart skipped a beat. Yes, I was. How did you know?" The man's expression softened. "The man you helped. He's my brother." Clara froze, the coffee pot still in her hand. "Your brother?" "Yes," he continued in a low voice. "He's a veteran. He's been struggling since he came home, and we've been looking for him for weeks. Last night, because of you, he called me for the first time in months. He said a girl gave me her bread, and for the first time, I felt human again." Tears filled Clara's eyes. "I didn't know. I just wanted to help." The man gave her a kind, reassuring smile. "Sometimes that's all it takes." He reminded him that kindness still exists in this world. I think, just maybe, that reminder saved his life. Clara stood there in stunned silence as he went on. "I own a small chain of bakeries in the city, and we could really use someone like you, someone with heart. Would you consider managing one of them?" Her mouth fell open. She couldn't form a single word. I don't know what to say," he chuckled softly. "Say yes. You've already proven exactly what kind of person you are." A few days later, Clara stood in her brand new uniform. It's not faded at all, staring at the sign outside her new workplace. Heart and Hearth Bakery. The air was filled with the incredible smell of fresh bread, and right there on the counter sat a small framed note. It read, "For the girl who gave her bread away and filled the world with kindness." Every morning she arrived before sunrise, pouring love and care into every loaf of bread and every pastry she baked. She developed a signature, a tiny heart carved into the crust of each loaf. And every evening before heading home, she would pack up the day's leftovers, wrap them neatly, and leave them by that same bus stop where she once sat, hungry and tired. Word spread quickly about the bakery run by the kind-hearted girl. Soon, customers weren't just coming for the amazing bread. They were coming for the warmth and compassion that Clara radiated. News outlets picked up the story, calling her the girl who gave her bread away. Within weeks, the bakery became a beloved city landmark. People stood in line not just for what she sold, but for what she represented. A beautiful living reminder that compassion is contagious. Months passed. Then, on a quiet afternoon, a familiar figure walked into the bakery. It was the man from the bus stop. But he was different now, cleaner, dressed in decent clothes, standing taller. His eyes lit up when he saw her. "You remember me?" he asked, his voice steady. Clara's smile was immediate and warm. "Of course. I never forget kindness." He held out a small envelope. "I've been working again. It's not much, but I wanted to pay you back." She gently shook her head. "You already did. The day you called your brother. That was more than enough." He smiled, his eyes glistening again. "Then let me just say thank you. You didn't just give me bread that night. You gave me a reason to live." As he left, Clara turned and looked out the window. Outside, people rushed through their lives, just as they always had. But she knew that somewhere out there, someone would see a stranger in need and remember her story. And maybe, just maybe, they would share their own bread. Because sometimes, it's not the size of the gift that changes a life, it's the love behind it. Clara never sought fame or reward. But her one simple act of kindness became a seed that grew and blossomed in countless hearts. And every loaf she baked, every smile she shared, carried the same powerful message. One act of kindness, no matter how small, has the power to feed the world. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more inspiring content. We'll see you in the next one.